So M stands for slope. We talked about that before. And we figure it, the formula we've already said is change in y to change in x. Again, the higher up you go in math, there are symbols that stand for words. The one that stands for change is called a delta. That's a delta. It's a triangle. So you have delta y, which means change in y, over delta x, which is change in x. And change just means subtract. Okay. We've talked about this before. Now, if I have a table, there's two ways. Our TEK on the board says to use data from a table or graph. So those are our two ways we have to be able to find slope. It's from a table and a graph. To determine the rate of change, or slope, because they mean the same thing, and the y-intercept, we're not quite there yet, in problems. So, yeah, it's the same thing. So if I have a table, here is going to be my little table. I'm going to use the one from your notes, or not your notes, your builder. So you have x and y. And we had -3, 9, and -2, 6. There's your table. Step 1, from a table. Now remember, our goal is to calculate the slope, which is just rate of change. The only thing that's different now is that we can't just do y divided by x like we did in our builder, because it's not going to work. Because So step 1, select 2 x, y pairs. I'm only giving you 2, so we're going to use those 2. So this one and this one. I would pick 2 easy ones. If 0, 0 is an option, always pick 0, 0 as one of your pairs. Okay. It makes the math really easy. Because step 2 is to subtract. Oh. And subtracting from 0 is super easy. Yeah. Subtract y's and subtract x's. I don't want to say subtract x's and y's because you're not subtracting x and y. You're subtracting y minus y and x minus x, which leads me to the other way you might see slope. You might see it as y2 minus y1. Those are not exponents. Over x2 minus x1. In fact, on the 8th grade reference chart up there, it's the third formula down is this one. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And these are just identifiers. So usually, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which ones are x1s and which ones are y1s. So usually, like, this could be your 1 set, and this can be your 2's set. You just have to keep them in order. If you do 9 minus 6, you have to do -3 minus 2. So if I do these minus this, I have to do it that order. I can't do 9 minus 6 and then -2 minus 3, -3. I can't go here and then there. You have to keep the same pattern. You can do 6 minus 9, -2 minus -3, or you can do 9 minus 6 and -3 minus -2. It doesn't matter. You get the same answer either way. Any preference? 9 minus 6 or 6 minus 9?
And then what happens when you get the total of those two numbers?
That's the next thing. Which one? You have to pick 9 minus 6 or 6 minus 9.
9 minus 9.
All right, I heard a 9 minus 6 loudest. So 9 minus 6 is the order we're going in. So we're going to do 9 minus 6. And then if I went 9 minus 6, I have to do -3 minus -2. -3 minus -2. This is where your integer rules are going to be very important because you have to do it in this order. So 9 minus 6 is
3.
Thank you. Not a trick. -3 minus -2, -1. So yes, step next 3 is write as a ratio. Or whole number. So this one, 3 divided by -1 can be -3. That's it. That's slope. So the slope is -3.
Oh, because negative.
Now, if you got 3, this is why your signs are so important. I'm going to cover it up real quick, but it's not going to stay up. This is what the slope looks like. It's going down 3 over 1. This is a negative slope. If you got a positive slope because you did your integers wrong, positive slope is going to look like this. 3 over 1. This is where your positive slope line would have been. So when you would say, oh, I got 3, that's close. No, it's not close. It's a completely different line going in a completely different direction. So it's really important to get your positives and your negatives right. Okay? All right. So that's from a table, and that's it. I really like the next part, which is a graph, because one of the instructions is to count. If you have a graph, the instructions are very similar, but instead of subtract, we're just going to count. So step 1, pick 2 points. Pick 2 points on the line. If 0, 0 is an option, pick 0, 0. Pick 2 points, and then we're going to, instead of subtract, we're going to count up, then over. Up, then over. Up and over. So again, I'm going to cover it up just for a second. So if I pick 2 points, I had this one and this one. I count up 3 over 1. That's it. Up 3 over 1. So the other way you're going to see slope is rise over run. Rise over run. You have to rise up out of bed before you can run to the bus stop. I'm going to add that to the top. So we have delta y, delta x, y minus y, x minus x, and now we have rise over run. Cool. Now, with the graph, it's not as important as up here where you had to make sure you had your numbers in order. You just need to know how far up, how far over, because your step 4 is to label it positive or negative. Positive or negative. And for that, we have a neat little cheat. Slope man, slope guy, whatever you want to call him. Positive slopes rise from left to right. That's a positive slope. Negative slopes fall from left to right. That's a negative slope. Positives, negatives. It's like a roller coaster, going up, going down. Slope can be undefined. It's not 0, it's undefined. If it's a straight line that's going up and down, U is for undefined.
Are we gonna ever have
Yeah.
We're gonna have undefined?
Sure. All you have to do, if it's a straight line going up and down, if it asks you for slope, you literally write undefined. That's it. And it's because you end up dividing by 0. The rise could be 3, but the run is 0. So you can't divide by 0. And then going across, this would be 0 slope. He has dimples. He's very unamused. But this would be a 0 slope. I like to think of the marble test. If you put a marble on this line, it does not move. It has 0 movement. If you put a marble on this line, you can't. Like, I can't take a marble and put it up against the wall and have it stick. It won't stick. I can put a marble on the floor. I can put a marble on a tilted surface. But I cannot take a marble and put it on the wall. It's going to fall.
Well, we have the 0 list.
Yeah, you'll have all of them.
What if your walls are uneven? We did this last time.
That's an issue. Okay? So that's all you have to do. So you count up and over, and then if it's going up this, it's positive, negative. If it's straight up and down, it's undefined. If it's straight across, it's 0, and they are very different. 0 is very different than undefined. This one is 0 divided by something. This one is something divided by 0. One of them results in an error. The other one results in 0.